All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to tackle the real engine behind modern AI, a little something called machine learning. And trust me, by the end of this, you're going to get it, all thanks to one super simple, really powerful story. So let's just start with this one big question, right? How in the world do you teach a computer to learn something new without actually writing out every single rule for it? It's a huge puzzle, and we're going to solve it right now.
And here's the big idea. Instead of us writing endless lines of code, if this, then that, machine learning totally flips out on its head. We just throw a ton of examples and data at the computer, and we let it figure out the rules for itself. It's basically learning from experience, kind of like we do.
Now, to really get this, you don't need to be a coder, not at all. The absolute best way to wrap your head around machine learning is with an idea we're all familiar with, teaching a kid.
Okay, so just picture this. You're trying to teach a little kid how to recognize handwritten numbers, right? You're not going to start by giving them a geometry lesson on the precise angles of a 4 or the exact curve of a 3. I mean, that's nuts. It's way too complex. What do you do instead? You just show them tons and tons of examples. You point and say, see this? That's a 2. And you show them a perfect one, a really messy one, a tiny one, a giant one. But every time you give them the right answer, over and over and over. And you do the same thing for a 9, right? The kid sees a perfectly drawn 9 and then another one that's all tilted and kind of squiggly, but it doesn't matter. You keep telling them the same thing. Yep, that's a 9 too. So after seeing maybe hundreds of these, something pretty amazing starts to happen. The kid's brain begins to build its own little internal model. It starts to get the feel for what makes a 9, no matter how weirdly it's written. And this is the real magic moment. One day, you show the kid a messy number 5 in a handwriting style they've never seen before, and they'll just look at it and go, that's a 5. Boom. They've learned to generalize from all those examples. They can now apply what they learned to something totally new. That right there is the heart and soul of machine learning. So let's connect the dots here, because it's a perfect parallel. The child's brain, that's like the computer's model. And all those handwritten numbers with the right answers, in our world, we call that labeled data. It's literally just examples with the answers attached. We're teaching the machine the exact same way we teach the child. Okay, so now that we've got that core idea down, let's see how it builds into the first of 3 main flavors of machine learning. And guess what? This first one follows our kid's story perfectly. It's called supervised learning, and the name is actually perfect, right? We are literally supervising the computer's learning by giving it all that labeled data, the examples that already have the correct answers. You see this every single day with your email spam filter. That thing was trained on millions of emails that people, actual humans, already marked as spam or not spam. So the model learns all the patterns, weird words, sketchy senders, and then it uses that knowledge to guess if a brand new email is junk or not. But what if you have a huge pile of data, but 0 answers? No labels at all. What then? Well, that brings us to the second major type of machine learning. And this is called, you guessed it, unsupervised learning. This time, we don't give the machine any hints. We just give it a massive, messy pile of data and basically say, hey, go find something interesting in here. See if you can find any natural groups or patterns. Think about a big store with all of its sales data. They could use unsupervised learning, and the AI might start finding customer groups all by itself. Like, it might notice, hey, there's a bunch of people who always buy baby stuff together. And here's another group that's all about hiking gear. And oh, look, these people only buy stuff when it's on a massive discount. The machine discovers these customer types without anyone ever telling it to look for them. All right, on to our third and final way computers learn. This one is a little different. It's less about looking at data and more about learning by doing, through pure trial and error. It's called reinforcement learning. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like training a dog. Dog does the right thing, it gets a treat. That's a positive reward. It does the wrong thing, no treat. Over time, the dog just naturally starts doing more of the stuff that gets it rewards. This is precisely how an AI learns to play a video game, for instance. It starts out just making totally random moves. But if a move leads to a win, it gets a little reward point. If it leads to a loss, it gets a penalty. You let it play millions of games, and eventually it figures out a strategy all on its own to get the most reward points possible. And that's how it becomes an absolute master. Woo, okay, we've definitely covered some ground. So let's just pause for a second and pull it all together in a really simple recap of these 3 big ideas. So here it is, nice and simple. Supervised learning,
That's learning from examples with answers, and it's all about making predictions. Unsupervised? That's data without answers, and it's about finding hidden groups. And reinforcement learning? That's learning from trial and error, using rewards to get better. Honestly, if you can just remember those three, plus our story about teaching a child, you've totally got the fundamentals of machine learning down.
Okay, so now we get how machines learn from data and from experience. But that opens up a whole new, really exciting question. What can they actually create? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next time. In episode 6, we're diving headfirst into generative AI. Yup, the tech that creates text, images, even music. We're going to see how it all works and how it builds on the very same ideas we talked about today. Hey, thanks so much for watching. A quick shout out to Knowledge Equity Partners. They're a multilingual channel sharing all sorts of contemporary and practical knowledge on topics that can make your everyday life just a bit more effective and efficient. So, if you found this content valuable, you should definitely subscribe to Knowledge Equity Partners. That way, you'll get notified about their daily videos. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and spread this knowledge with your family, friends, and your community. Let's all keep that quest for knowledge going strong. And speaking of more knowledge, definitely be sure to look out for episode 6, where we'll get into all things generative AI. Hope to see you there.